SCP number 444. The Language of Global Harmony. Item number 444. Level 2 Restricted. Containment Class Euclid. Disruption Class Kennic. Risk Class Danger. Special Containment Procedures. Instances of SCP-444 identified outside Foundation custody are to be isolated or destroyed with extreme prejudice. The Foundation's instances of SCP-444 are to be kept under Type A hazardous documentation protocols. Translators are to have no more than 12 hours weekly access to SCP-444 and must undergo weekly linguistics and psychological examinations. Individuals compromised by SCP-444 are to be isolated and prevented from making vocalizations, and are to be terminated unless they are required for testing protocols. Rapid Response Task Force Omicron 11, aka Burke's Boys, is to be used wherever possible due to the deaf nature of its members. Description: SCP-444 is a linguistically conveyed mimetic virus. SCP-444 takes the form of a valid and coherent, if limited, language. Individuals exposed to SCP-444 assimilate it and lose their ability to use or learn other languages, although they typically retain their ability to understand previously understood languages. Written examples of SCP-444 require extended contact, but verbal exposure has effect after only a few sentences. The mechanism for this change is still unknown. SCP-444's written form has a unique alphabet of geometric shapes read in a radiating pattern from the center. Systematic examination of SCP-444, primarily in experiments 444-7, 444-13, and 444-17, reveals that it lacks the ability to express several concepts, including rebellion, hatred, anger, and redacted. Re-examination of the data from experiment 444-17, gathered from MRIs, live electrode examination, and dissections of infected brains, confirms that SCP-444 causes significant alterations to human brain structure, chemically severing the redacted of the brain. This, not the reduced vocabulary, is believed to cause the altered mentality of the infected. The primary area of Foundation research into SCP-444 is currently to isolate the source. SCP-444 is to be considered a hostile invasive weapon. Since some point in the 20th century, a number that is at least in the double digits instances of SCP-444 exposure have been recorded, typically among migratory workers or the underclass in depressed urban areas. Experiment Log 444-7. Chief Researchers: Mr. J. Mellows, Linguistic Expert. Dr. Redacted, Sociology Expert. Redacted, Military Assessor. Experimental Parameters: It has been suggested that psychological deviations may occur as a result of long-term infection with SCP-444 due to limitation of vocabulary. 50 Class D personnel with violent backgrounds were exposed to SCP-444 and placed in a sealed environment with limited but sufficient resources. They were informed that they were not to be released at any point and their environment would not be interfered with by the Foundation. A control group of 50 Class D personnel was also maintained. Monthly terminations were suspended for both groups. Date: some point in the 20th century. Control group: Group introduced to environment. By the end of Week 2, population stands at 42. Test group: Group introduced to environment. By the end of Week 2, population stands at 47. Next entry. Control group: Wide-scale violence and gang culture has developed. By the end of Month 1, population stands at 26 with several subjects suffering from malnutrition. Test group: Group has entered stable group dynamic behind 4 dominant personalities. By end of Month 1, population stands at 42. Next entry. Control group: Violence escalated significantly. By end of Month 6, Population stands at 7. Group terminated as non-viable. Test group. Group authority has dissolved. Organization is functioning as an ideal anarchic commune. By end of month 6, population stands at 42 with several pregnancies. Next entry. Control group. Extinct. Test group. 1 year after experiment commenced, population stands at 52. 1 additional unexposed Category D personnel introduced. Group rapidly accepts introduced personnel as leader, showing no resistance to subjugation. Group terminated and youths placed in custody to establish development in infants. Final entry. Infant group. Progressive development confirmed. Group terminated. Notes. Potential cure is still being examined. Behavior of SCP-444 infectees would be valuable in D-Class personnel if its spread could be contained. Value of SCP-444 as a potential invasion tool confirmed. As promised, that's the entry for SCP-444. I don't really have a huge amount to say about this one. It's an interesting memetic hazard, but overall, it's not particularly dangerous unless there's the factor of an outside force intentionally spreading it. Instead, this sort of serves as an example of how the Foundation tests things like this, and the Foundation's willingness to terminate personnel by killing them.